welcome back to another episode of Unglamorous Truths, the podcast where we're talking about making it in the industry come hell or high water. I'm Chandra.
I'm Crystal.
I'm Emmy.
And today we have a very, very, very special guest. She is a stand-up. She's also a writer who's written for Southside, SHERMAN'S Showcase, the BET Awards, Good Times on Netflix. She's a phenomenal actress who has been featured also on Southside, SHERMAN'S Showcase, the new Marvel series coming out, IRONHEART, and the Emmy-nominated show Jury Duty. We have Rashida Sheedz Olayiwola. Yes. And also she's a superior soup maker.
Soup?
Oh, she can cook.
Wait, okay, I need to know. Yeah, what are the soups? What do you got on deck?
What's crazy is I bring soup in like the most random situations. They're
Okay.
like, "Oh, it's somebody's birthday. I bring soup."
Wow.
It's like
Beach
not
day,
shit
I'll bring soup.
I'll bring soup. I make a really good. My friend taught me how to make. It's called kale white bean.
Ooh.
So it's kale white bean, and you're supposed to put Italian sausage, but I use Italian chicken sausage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Amazing.
Well, I'm coming over today, so.
And I can make a bomb chicken noodle soup that my mom taught me to.
Nice.
Okay, so we always like to kick it off with a little fun question. So today's question is, what is something that used to terrify you that you can now do with ease? And so for me, it is about the bugs. Okay, I was never a bug girl. I did not fuck with bugs. Anything, if it was not like a butterfly, a roly-poly, or an ant, it was a no-go for me. Mm-hmm. But my son is a bug boy. He loves bugs, and I don't want him to be scared of bugs. So the amount of spiders I have removed from the house instead of killing. The amount of June bugs that have flown on my body and I have not panicked. The other day, I think it was you, there was a spider on your head. And with my hand, remember this, with my hand, I removed that spider. I couldn't
You
believe
just
I was
gonna let me
touching this
die,
motherfucker.
Before.
Well, yeah, before I would have had to. I mean, I would have told you, I'd been like, girl, there's a spider on your head. Pray, do something. I'm not capable. But, I'm shocked at myself. I'm like, wow. I can't believe I'm doing
proud
this.
of you.
Touching bugs. Thank you.
So when I first moved out here, Chicago all day, period. But we don't have very many hilly things. When I got out here and I first had got my first car out here, I was scared to death to drive, even in Ubers and stuff, to go over like Mulholland. And because people, when you come to LA, they're like, oh, it's on the other side of the hill. I never knew what that meant. I still don't know what a valley is. I just end up there. Right. I just know it get hotter in the valley. So now that when I got my newer car, I'm not afraid anymore. And I think that I've been out here 6 years, and I face my fears because I would get so scared. I'm like, it's scary. It's a lot of windy, hilly roads out here. But now I actually go up there to look at the moon.
Come on. You be whipping that thing. Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here racking my brains of actual tangible fears, but the only thing that's coming to me is being vulnerable. I used to be so afraid of being vulnerable, and now I can tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just tell you how I
Mic
feel.
drop.
I don't care anymore.
Yes.
I love it.
Love that. For me, this is so specific, but I remember when I was 20, the doctor told me it would be good for my health to start eating mushrooms, and I really didn't like mushrooms.
Oh, you don't?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No. What's in my freezer? Mushroom risotto ready to make.
Period.
Shiitake mushrooms in my fridge.
Yes.
All the other mushrooms. I love mushrooms now. I'll eat them purely down my throat. Yes, and that was. I never saw that coming. I never saw that coming in my 20s. I literally was like, that's off the list. I will never eat them, and now I cook with them every day.
Welcome to the fungi world. I love it. So today we're going to talk about faith over fear. And, can we all just agree that chasing your dream is fucking terrifying?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And whether it be because you don't have any guidance in the area, you haven't seen anybody do it before you, or if it just seems so ambitious that it's like, how could anyone attain so much, whatever it be. So my question, Sheedz, you are at Northern Illinois University, right? Going to college. What were you majoring in?
I had two majors. So my first one was Black Studies and Africana Studies. Then I had a minor in theater. Then I was such a nerd, y'all. So I literally they was like, you need another elective to graduate for blah, blah, blah. And I enrolled in astrology, like the study of space and stuff. And the professors loved me. I wanted to stay longer, but they were like, yeah, your money running out. You're not about to be here this long. And I fell in love with the whole department. The whole department loves me. I could have been an astronaut, but
You was a whole Southside storyline.
I know, right? I know, right?
You and Kareem. Dude.
Yeah.
it was Black Studies, theater, and astrology.
So when did you decide to make the transition to like, I'm going to be acting?
I hosted, so like how, you know how like Diddy and Lala was them people at Howard, like where that's how they got their come up. I was that person at NIU, and then like the city schools, I would host all of the comedy shows, all of the fashion shows. Like whenever like even the sororities and fraternities, they'd be like, we need you to host our Alpha Week, like because I was funny, personality, and I like the whole school knew me. So that's how I got my nickname Sheedz. My Black Studies professors used to call me Rashida Sheedz, and then the crowd would just say Sheedz when I came out. So my family, I didn't know I had a nickname until I came home to Chicago, because I would, Northern was like an hour and a half away. I would come, and my mom was like, who the hell is Sheedz? Somebody told me to myself, that's Sheedz, Mom. Who the hell is Sheedz? And I was like, oh, Ma, that's like my name.
It's me.
Hit me now.
It started there. Like I would host all of those things, and then I would put together shows. Like I didn't know it had the term producing at the time, because mind you, I went to college early too. I went to college when I was like fresh 17, so I was young, being president of like BSU and the events board and the co-chair student program. I just knew something was different with me, because I'm like, you like doing this shit and you're good at it and you're smart. And then I would get people to come up there like Kevin Hart, and then my cousin would come up and be like, what the hell, they said you throwing a show real. And I'm like, I am, like, I'm that nigga up here, like, but I also care about people. Like I care about how things are done, how people feel, like, and then if it come to Black people, man, listen, I always do everything I do with us in mind. So that's how that started. Then after I graduated, I moved to New York for like 2 years, and when I was there, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was just like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be on TV and blah blah. I went out there, got a man.
You got a man? You were booked.
Right.
Period.
It didn't end the way I wanted it to, but like it just wasn't what I thought it would be. But I was appreciative of what New York did to me. Like being born and bred Chicago, New York's like it's
Tough.
Y'all know
It's different.
Yeah,
It's tough.
yeah. It brings a different hustler out of you for sure.
It did,
you thought
and
you
it did.
hustled, and then you get to New York and you're like, oh,
and you like, all right, I gotta move now.
Yep.
So it gave me that move now type shit. Like, don't even wait. Nobody's waiting for you in New York, like
At all.
yeah.
So when I was in New York, now mind you, pause real quick. We're gonna rewind real quick. When I was in at NIU, this theater school called Second City, I did not know what that was, because when you're from areas of Chicago that we're from, that's,
you don't know what
you
the
don't,
North
I
Side
don't,
is.
we don't
You
even
don't
know
know.
what the North Side. I'm just being real. Unless you're Black and from the North Side or Nigerian or something. I didn't know what that was. They so I was in Black Theater Workshop, and they were like, oh, the Second City wants us to come see their show, because they couldn't sell tickets at NIU. Nobody was going to see that, but all the white kids were going.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go, y'all. And they were like, all right, whatever. I went, and they do this part of the show where they invite up people who wanna. They're like, who we need to, and I got up there and killed it.
Yes.
And the lady afterwards was like, hi, I'm in the diversity. We want, like, you should come down and see this. And I was like, no. She was like, well, here's my card. When people still gave cards.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to, I'm in New York. I have to come home because I had got sick. And so I had to come home and get an operation done. And I was just really bummed, because I was just finding my way in New York. Like, I was finally getting the groove of, like, it didn't bother me when people said insults and shit. I was like, oh, whatever. That's how they are. It's Tuesday. Got home, was kind of bummed. And I kid y'all not, divine order, I found that card. And I called her and I was like, hey, you told me if I was ever back in Chicago, back home, I'm back home. And she was like, yeah, come see me. Came and saw her. She was like, we have this Puma scholarship. But she was like, you have to audition first. I was like, I'm finna kill this audition. Went in there, smoked that audition.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that improv was just, in my black household, it's called go outside and play or go in the basement and play. I was like, you just doing that? I'm one of 72 grandchildren.
Huh? Excuse me?
Yeah. My mom is one of 12.
Wow.
Literally 72?
Yes, literally 72. Imagine 12 people having like 6 kids, or that adds up pretty quick.
Yes.
And then great grandkids and stuff. So I grew up in a house full of people where we were always in the basement playing and writing our own songs. We had a group called Junior Bone Thugs and Harmony. We thought we were so creative. My rap name was She Dog, because I used to like be so good.
Yeah.
So I went in there, smoked the audition, got the Puma scholarship, and all of my A through E courses were paid for. Like, it just went from there, y'all. Like, I didn't look back. And the only time I looked back was when I would see other black people from my hood like, oh, what's that you do? I'm like, come see. Because I didn't know what it was I wanted them to know. I'm like, all this stuff is up here and we don't even know about it. From Second City, I.O., I was on the teams in there and would perform with 3P and all of them. And that's how like when I look out and you see like how all y'all came up, like me, Dwayne Perkins, Danielle Pinnock, all of us came because we were there together. Lisa Beasley, that's how I met them, because we were the black kids at these places, these very white spaces, and we had to stick together. We wanted to perform together. We put up our own shows, but that's where that took off. And I was doing stand-up for fun because I like to tell stories. That's why Biggie's my favorite artist.
And when you got out there to do stand-up for the first time, you were not nervous at all?
No. I did stand-up for the first time at the Laugh Factory. They gave me They gave me 5 minutes.
What a way to start.
Wait, and to start with 5.
Yeah.
Had you been writing? Okay.
So I just went up there, did it, and then I didn't know I was good until they were like, hey, we got a 10-minute spot for this show. Mind you, we can talk about that later, but I was just like, for the 11 o'clock, I think I could stay. And they were like, if you stay, here's these drink tickets. I was still very like green in stand-up. It's a lot of stuff I learned about the stand-up scene. God bless to those who that's what they do. And man, I didn't know that was a thing because people was getting mad at me for doing it. I was like, they just offered it to me, but I didn't know that you have to like have some chops to get that stuff. And some people were upset because they were like, she just came in and did this. So that's when I kind of like was like, I don't want to do this. It wasn't because I was not good. It was because literally
politics.
I didn't like how it made you feel. And it wasn't until like people like Dave Hellam and some other ones were like, gee, you're good. Fuck them.
Fuck that, yeah.
Like, and that's
come on, get up here.
Yeah, and that's because I didn't come back for a while because I was like, they are so mean.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like when I was younger and like, jump in if you feel this way, like I would not be ever afraid to perform or to like pursue the arts. Like, to be in a play was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah. Like, I always say this, like, I was a writer, director before I knew it. Like, I would gather all the kids on the block and I will give them roles and conflict and then be like, okay, let's go. Like, and really direct this scene of like, we called it house. Let's play house.
Yep.
You the daddy, you the mommy. Okay, he stole something and you about to call him out on it. Okay, and now you gonna come in and then do this. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense.
So crazy.
My brother and I used to go in our backyard. There was like this little weird bridge. I don't even know why that was there, but we would like. Well, we were children. We were 4 years old, guys. So context. We would play Billy Goat's Gruff and pretend to be goats.
I love it. I'll do that today. I love goats.
And literally play Billy Goat's Gruff. My mom would do it with us because my mom's a Cancer and she's fucking creative. So she'd be right there with us. We'd all be goats under the bridge and like running back and forth. And it was definitely life to the point. It was so normalized to just go play.
Yeah.
and like be creative.
Yeah.
That when church was my first, opening to do like a church scene,
Yeah.
And
Oh, church plays. Yes.
I got to like, play with the manger at the Christmas scene and stuff like that. And I was always like, of course, give me more. Like, I'm the lead. Like, so that is a thing when you're young.
Yeah. And shout out them church plays. It definitely gave me a space to get going. And even through, like when I first got to college, I still felt like super confident. There was never any fear around it. But I think there was a certain point where there became a right or wrong way to perform, where that was kind of like a lot for me and like stagnated me. And I definitely feel like when there was a transition to this being business, for the first time, I began to be like really feel
The pressure.
fear and panic. Yeah. And like would freeze. Like, do you feel like when you guys transitioned to it as professional, there was like
because the stakes were very high at this point. Now, like, my livelihood depends on it. How I eat depends on it versus something just being for fun and an outlet, and that's why they say, like, when you do what you love, sometimes the fun gets sucked out of it.
Yeah, that's why, like, when I was saying, I was doing all that stuff in college and it was so fluid. Then when I got out of college, it was like, okay, I got to do this way. Like, exactly what y'all saying, because now it's like, if you don't book this, or if you want somebody to fund this, it college was college. It was like, Cab got a budget and you can go do what you do. Even though I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do, the stakes are a lot higher outside of that. Like, you're doing stand up for drink tickets, but you got to do this other thing to make this other thing work.
Yeah, and it's like it feels almost counterintuitive to be like afraid to do what you feel like you're born to do.
When does that start? Like, when does that moment happen?
That's what I'm trying to get under right here. I'm trying to let's dig it out.
When the rejection starts coming in, because I have memories of like when I first moved to LA, being so wide-eyed and hopeful and optimistic and just like ready to have fun in the pursuit of it all. And like, I think also like being younger, you feel like you have so much time. So it's like, it's okay. And then like the compounding of the no's, and then you get the yes, and then more compounding of the no's. You're like, what is this? Is this going to be my life? And then as more responsibilities come into play, it's like, well, like, I'm trying to level up in like my life. I want a home. I want a family. I want a car. I want these. I'm not okay having 3 roommates. I'm not okay with this anymore. I'm not okay eating peanut butter and jelly and noodles. Like, I want to go out to dinner. I want to buy a $18 cocktail and not
and not feel it. And I have to decide between, do I eat or take an Uber to work?
Girl.
Like, I remember when I first moved out here, the air mattress, all I had was my air mattress, my computer, and I was renting a room in West Hollywood. Didn't know areas or nothing. I fell asleep because I was a server at one of my jobs. I had a pen in my pocket. Fell asleep. The pen punched my air mattress.
Woke up on the floor.
Y'all woke up on the floor.
On a flat surface.
Then I had a roommate who had like some type of, I don't know what the fuck he was going through, but he ate all my food.
All your food?
Yeah, I get frantic and I eat. I was like, well, you gonna get frantic and get fucked up. Because now I have no food. Like, I just remember sitting on that deflated air mattress, and that was like the first time I had like a cry, like, because y'all, I left my good ass job in Chicago, my nice ass car, my condo in Hyde Park. I lived in Hyde Park.
For non-Chicagoans, it's a very beautiful place to live. It's very.
It
you
is
made
like
it.
when you like. I was
you just
like, are you okay?
Yeah.
What is this? And then that's when I was like, nah, fuck this. Like, I'm going. How Denzel Washington said, I'm a winner. I'm going to win. Something went off at me that day, and I was like, Roosevelt Hotel, yep, I'll take that job. I was working 3 jobs, doing shows in the daytime and writing every chance I can get. And one of my shows, a couple of my shows, Bashir and Diallo would come. It was the show that Dave Hellam would have. And I just remember them talking to me after one. People talk in LA. After my 3rd year there, I was like, they just gassing. And he was like, you get a compliment from Bashir? He looked me dead on. He was like, that was really good.
Oh, that's
exactly how he said it.
Like, that was really good. That thing about it, that was funny. Yo, you should. he's like, yo, send her info. So I'm like, whatever. And then Dave was like, yo, I was like, yo, I love their show, but they just, he said they got a message from Diallo and was like, okay, they really did like me. But life changed after I was like, I'm not having this shit no more. And I think everybody sitting here and everybody who is talking about what they want to do in this business, you got to have that in you of like, I'm going to do this. And I don't care who thinks what's it called? Faith over fear. I don't care. You got to have, even don't matter what you believe in, you have to believe the first thing in yourself, and you gotta believe. I don't care what you believe in, you have to believe.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yes, that's why I say no man can stand in between what God has for me.
Yes. Trust God, chill. I love it.
Yep. And there was what was the program you were on in Chicago?
WGN.
Yes, when you were on WGN
morning show,
and you said jump and watch the net appear.
Period.
Yes.
Girl, I started crying. Because she always comes through with the
motivation.
Yes, and we're just like just stay faithful, stay down. And girl, when I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. Like, and I mean, like, what a challenging thing to do though, right? To like really have that type of faith, And I do think it does start with like in yourself,
Yes.
And I think we all kind of start with that, and then like over time in this industry, it gets beat down. It gets beat down.
Yeah.
It gets beat down. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not just the industry; it's also can be the world because. Even before we were in the industry, we moved to New York and we faced I'll speak for us, or definitely for myself, like personal life challenges of what you just said of you move to New York, you think everyone's going to see it. You think everything's going to be super clear, and then real life hits. Yeah. Like I moved to New York at 17, right? Like we were there at 18, like you guys were there at 18, like very young, and I was in a situation where I'm the first one on my mom's side of the family to literally go to college and graduate. And I didn't have any financial help coming in. So, like, I literally get to NYU. The first thing I'm doing is looking for a job. I got 2 jobs within the week. Like, I was working at the Student Media Center, but also working at a burger place at night. And so it's, like, not just finances, but just, like, also room for doubt to creep in.
Right. Yep.
Like, and I think that's something we don't talk about enough. Doubt comes in really sneaky ways. It's real sneaky, and like it can be when you're down on yourself with finances. I know for me it came when I left my cocoon of my authenticity within my family and my world and went to a very white space for the first time. That's when it hit me. Because I went to middle school, I got bused to a different type of school, and I remember I was so excited to make new friends, and I'm like, I'm the shit. So I'm like walking in there like, oh, you all gonna be my best friend. I'm popular. I'm amazing. And then I talked to this random white girl and I was like, yeah, because Blackstreet. She was like, what's Blackstreet? Do you mean? She was like, do you mean Backstreet Boys?
No, bitch. I said like, black.
I was like,
I said what I said.
I was like, no, Blackstreet, motherfucker. I like the way you work it. Okay.
Right. No diggity.
And that was the beginning of like a constant, relentless stream of chipping away. Of just not being seen.
Oh yeah,
and that can happen.
CBS Showcase. I don't give a shit. I'm letting it out.
Yes,
they know what they did, and I'm saying this too. Like a lot. Like, well, it was in the papers of what happened. Now, mind you, there's a whole new showcase, and it's great. Respect to CBS and NBC. I was in both of those showcases, and I'm grateful for what I took from that, but. This isn't to shit on them. It's the shit you go through as a black person.
Yes.
And when I got in there, first of all, I came straight from Chicago. I'm me. First of all, I'm fly. I like nails, hair, all that stuff. But you get in there, and I was like, everybody's cliquish. There were some people who were cliquish, and then they were telling me what not to be. So I kept, if my faith was not the way it was, I will never forget. This dude told me, "Yo, that shit funny as hell, but like, you should. It's don't be so black." They told me, "Don't be so black." Then I had a producer tell me, "You are really smart." Kid you not. I still have the email. You're really smart, but it needs to be more like, can you just make that more like, I don't know, ghetto, goofy? That's what she said.
What?
So I was told I was too black, I was too smart. One girl told me I should take my braids out. Yes. Another girl told me my nails was doing too much. This is all the stuff that I heard, y'all.
And they'll say it straight to your face.
Oh, thinking that they're being helpful.
They know who they are because they, during the protest, they came up to me once, like I had things started happening for me. I just want to, it was like,
now they want to talk to Nikki.
Yeah, now you want to talk to Nikki. Out here on these, like, and they've been watching, but what they've seen, and I'm so proud of, they seen me. Come up as me.
Yes.
As the authentic, black, brilliant, hilarious, God-fearing person.
Right.
What if I would have folded? That's why I always think about, what if I would have folded in those showcases because there's so many people. They say diversity, but it'd be more white folks than black, brown, and other folks. So I would be in there, and I'll never forget when me and my homeboy were very close, Jay Snow. We left because when they told me to dumb down my shit, I wasn't having it. I took all my sketches and I left. And they sent me an email. I was like, no, I'm not finna fold on who I am. I would never fold on me. And I'm never finna sell out my people for y'all. I'm just not. And I didn't like that word of like, make this more ghetto. What do you mean more ghetto? It was great. But that same sketch, here's a testimony. One of them same sketches, I submitted it to NBC and I won the NBC sketch writing program.
Amazing.
And Amber Ruffin called me and was like, this is so funny. Congratulations. Just to show you, sometimes say no.
Yeah.
Sometimes say no. A no.
Yeah.
Do integrity.
Yeah.
Faith and integrity go hand in hand.
I think anytime when you're given the opportunity for an opportunity or a come up, but it may come at the expense of a part of yourself, or you in your gut, you're like, oh, I don't feel like I can be my full self if I take this opportunity, then maybe that's a no. Maybe that opportunity is a no.
It's making me compromise who I am and what I stand for. And then it's like, then what is it? Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Right, because God's plan is God's plan, right? So what is for me is for me. And I think that's really when the breakthroughs happen. Like, the more we're like talking to people on the show and just even with our own experience, I feel like that moment where you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm crying on a deflated mattress. I need to show up as myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because how much low can I get, bitch? I'm on the floor.
I'm on the floor. Air mattress. And y'all, air mattresses ain't cheap when you ain't got
not money.
Yep, because they all know, for me, my breaking point was when I was crying in that shower. Butt ass naked, curled up in that ball crying because, I thought that our web series was going to propel us to superstardom. And, it didn't. It didn't. I thought Pharrell had seen us and we was told all these lies were told to us about how successful this is going to be. And then it was like, oh.
Smoke and mirrors.
Oh, Pharrell didn't see this.
And if anything, it needs to be a lesson and like, don't let other people's validation like determine what your path is.
Yeah.
Because he probably did see it. And many other people probably did see it and saw the potential in it. But that doesn't mean just because they didn't pounce on it that it wasn't worthy.
Right.
And that you should stop where you are. No, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Because that is where the success lies. It's in the momentum. It's in the progression. It's not in the you do one thing perfectly and then now you're a star. Because no one does anything perfectly.
No. No.
But they just keep doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I definitely feel like if I could go back and talk to a younger version of me, I would be like, look, you're going to be failing a lot, but the one thing that can propel you further than anything else is just you need to believe in yourself. You need to have an unshakable belief in yourself. Because I feel like I know for sure I did not have that. Yeah, I didn't. No, but all my peers that I did see have that. Like you would just see them and I would be like, how are they excelling? How do they know themselves already? How are they so confident in themselves? Like, I feel like that's definitely, I think I just probably hit in my 30s.
Yeah. And also it's like anchor yourself in what you have to say. Anchor yourself in what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And that will help you with the low tides. Yeah. That will help you when you feel like everyone has turned their back on you. When people aren't resonating with what you're doing. When you anchor yourself in your purpose and why you were here and what you want to share with the world and your contribution, you'll keep going. No one can take that from you.
Yeah. And I think also one thing that the hard lessons we've learned, and we probably all learn here, is, you know, it's not just faith over fear. It is faith over the failure, because the failures are relentless. Like, I mean, and honestly, as long as you embrace that as a perspective and like in a very grounded way, just are like, okay, failure is a part of it, but the wins are too, right? So because just study the greats. If you study any great person, it was not just boom, 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 boom all the way up. Like, I mean, literally Michael Jordan was like, I fail up. That's how I got here.
That's Sheed's guy right
there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sheed's love Jordan. That's her Aquarian brother.
Okay. Yeah. So it's about failing
true.
up. It's literally just like, literally that is the way. It's the way forward. And I think I know for myself in this current period of time, like, I'm evolving and learning new skills and challenging myself, like learning how to run a business, learning money in a different way, learning how to create a sustainable legacy for myself and a family. Like, these require new habits. And like,
they truly do.
And so in those seasons, it's on me to make sure that I encourage myself through looking at examples. Like, I did watch that, you know, Michael, the Jordan documentary
Last
again.
Dance.
You know, I watched it again because I needed
I
a
watch
reminder.
that like all the time, not just because I love Jordan, but that end part when he was like, everybody want to talk about how hard it was for what, like, because we heard all the stories like, oh, he hit Steve Kerr, or, you know, he was like, but all these mugs are not just one-time champion, they're one of the greatest dynasties that basketball has ever seen. And he was like, if you don't want to play with me, don't play with me, but this is how we gonna win. He's like, I got beat up by the fist, like beat up, like the equivalence of me on that air mattress was him getting his ass whooped, like Molly.
Fuck you, Bill Lambier.
Right. I've done this. I've won gold medals. But like everybody, and y'all know how it is. Everybody say they want to do this shit, but
Right.
our whole industry right now is on what? It's going through, right? But everybody want to do this, right? So everything we went through on our journeys, it like we wouldn't even be able to. We all be cracking if we didn't do the job, the late night jobs while working at the student center. And I heard you say, Chandra, that you was like in your 30s, you just learned. So I'm just like in my 30s, what I have learned. The boundary shit was so hard for me. And I didn't even know the terminology of boundary till I was able to afford a therapist, a black woman therapist who was like, yo, you can't let this and this happen. So I'm in my 30s now, and Muggs is like, every time they see me, they like, you changed. You may not like it now, but every time they like, yo, thank you for telling me, blah. I'm like, yeah, because if I'm glad that you're feeling the way you're feeling now, because and that's no shame to nobody. My friend told me just yesterday, she was like, I just read the autobiography of Malcolm X and I feel so lame because I was like, why? She was like, because I'm late. I was like, but you're not.
Right.
You're not. We gotta stop feeling like we're late. What made you feel like you're late? Social media?
Yeah.
Because fuck them. I had so much fun on social media now that I be like, I've never been a FOMO person, but I see what it does to people. And I'm like, once you let go of that, like, I'm finna have a ball. I be having a ball. It be days I talk shit, praise God. You may see me in the mountains. You may see me back at the crib eating popcorn. It don't matter. Yes. I'm going to have a ball with it.
Yes.
Instead of chasing algorithms and all that shit, I just be having fun.
Yes, girl. And that makes you think about how I had to release myself from the chokehold of being the best in favor of being better. I just want to be better. Okay? Because I don't know what the best is or how that is ever attained, but I know that if I share this script with somebody, they can help me be better.
Yeah.
And even if I know, like, there's scripts that I have that I'm like, I know that it's not where it needs to be. I know where the holes are. I just don't right now know how to fix them.
I can't fix them yet.
I don't know how. So my options are sit on this and let it collect dust until I figure it out, or share it with my network and allow them to help me be better.
That's how them the people who get to where they going to. Because I don't have no ego when it comes to being better. I'm going to ask questions. Like I be like, yo, can you help me?
Yeah.
Depending on who it is, because one of my professors, Dr. Ty Yuri, told me, don't just be trying to know people just to know people.
Yeah.
Like, really, so I'll use my divinity or energy is my first language where I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't just, we know not to give it to anybody, but I have no ego when it comes to like, yo, and I think, Chandra, you could attest to this of knowing who I am. I will be like, yo, you look great.
Yeah.
I love this. Why? Like, how can I, instead of like, who she thinks tell her she look good and you like where she got her shoes from. I'm gonna say, yo, what you wrote was awesome. Can you help me with like, can you read this? So I definitely understand. Or like, I have so many friends, those of which have blown up, and they're like, I was so shocked when one of my homies was like, yo, can you sit in on my set? And can you punch it up? I'll pay you, blah, blah. He was like, man, you are a punch up queen. Like, can you? I never knew that. And then it was an effect of more people like, because they were telling other people like, if you want your shit to be tight. And I just think that's so beautiful because it's like remove the ego and you gon', like you said, I don't know what the best look like, but I'm going to be better every fucking time you see me.
Right. Right.
Every time.
Right. And I think there's also in that there's like a dog energy too that I think is important and that people recognize. It's like I might not be the best, but I'm gonna be a fucking dog.
I'm gonna be a dog.
So I'm gonna be every day in here working.
People respect when you ride for yourself. Like, okay, bitch.
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
If you don't think you're seeing, who else?
Right. And if they don't respect it, they're fucking haters.
Yes.
Yep.
You a hater if you over here shitting on somebody that's doing something while you under the covers.
Yep.
All day long.
Yep. I have definitely had to learn humility has its place.
Yeah.
But also, confidence is not the enemy of humility.
It's not.
Right? Like you can value yourself.
It's not arrogant.
No.
It should be
It's
inspiring
self-assured.
to those who not, like, because most of the time, 90% of the time, that's be what it is that they're like, man, this person is fearless or they're confident. I'm not finna allow you to knock down my fucking confidence. Because now, if we rewind back to the things I told y'all, what I went through them showcases, now everybody who does your nails? Who they want the aesthetics. This is who I am.
And if you would listen to other people, you'd be out here with nubs. I got nubs, but I chose these. So
Right.
No, I'm just saying,
don't
like,
come for me.
I would be less of
I chose
myself.
this.
You'd be less of yourself if we let people do that to us and then we fold on who we are. I'm not folding. Not folding is how I am.
For sure.
Every time you see me, I'm evolved.
Yep.
Not folding on my faith, who you are, like all of that. Do not, because we ain't talk about it yet, but when you go and move to a place, they're faith killers out here.
Well, let's get into it. Shit. Let's get into it. Yes.
I always thank God. I always, like, that's what I believe in. I believe in God, the universe, all of it hand in hand.
Yes.
I never come at nobody of what they choose to believe in. I love everybody. Unless you give me a reason not to, then cool. But I remember first coming out here, mugs would be like, who'd you say? They would make me feel like, I shouldn't believe in that, or I shouldn't believe at all. And I was like, I said, thank God. I said, thank this. Those who know me, I love to pray. I'm going to pray. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll pray. I pray for y'all. You don't even know. I'm gonna pray in this situation. I'm gonna pray for the energy to be aligned. I journal a lot. I talk to God on my nights when I didn't have money and would have to walk home from work. I would just be talking to God, looking up at the moon. Like that's what I do. I still do that to this day.
Yeah.
But there were people who would be like, I mean, do you think, like, would just question me, and I would never fold. I'm like, well, if that doesn't work for you, cool. But when shit hits, hey, Sheedz, I just wanted to know, can you pray for me? When shit got bad for them. And even when things I've been through, I'm sure we've all been through bad, terrific shit. I hope that we don't, but I've been through horrific shit, but still, I'm like, I'm still going to pray.
Yeah.
I just remember people would come to me when things were bad for them. And I would tell them I wasn't afraid. I'm like, you know, you always ask, how's this going for me or why this happened? I'm like, because I ain't trying to cry, y'all. It's because what my therapist told me. I've had her for 2 years, and every session we read a passage of my journal. It's like after we talk, like a summary. It's not like all my personal shit. But the one thing she said, she was like, yo, since I've been with you, your faith hasn't wavered. You've been she said it always starts and ends with, thank you, God. Appreciate you. I always say, if you can't bless me anything else, keep my heart grateful. And she had told me, she was like, the one thing that I had inspired her, she was like, I always have a list of names of who I'm praying for, because I hear when my friends ask me to pray for them, and I do. I write it down because I'm like, I'm going to put this in conviction. Yes. And I will never forget those people who like, oh, why you say this or why you believe in that, but y'all come in and ask me to pray for you. And if I was a bitch, I'd be like, no. Or if I wasn't real, I'd be like, no. But my grandma always told me, pray for them.
Yep.
Because it changes. I had a whole person come, a friend, a very dear friend of me, who didn't believe for whatever reason, whatever happened to them. And by believing, I'm not saying they got telling them what to believe in. That's how you know a person who really believes. They're not telling you who or what to believe in. Just saying believe. He wrote me this long thing and was like, yo, your faith inspired me to believe.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Look at that instrument.
Yeah.
You're an example.
That's
Even
what it's
when the people,
about.
even when the people like judged it or didn't understand it because it was foreign, the fact that they returned is like, if you looked at it from a society lens, they dick riders. But like, if you look at it from a religious, spiritual lens,
and I did
they're
it.
here to you're showing them the tools, like, and helping them. So
and I will say that it's something about, you know, leaning into your faith, whatever it is, a light starts to beam out of you. And I feel like you really do start to like lead with light and start to like walk in faith in a different way that is just like so calming and so powerful. And I do believe whatever your faith is, whatever you believe in, if you really lean into it, imagine how powerful you could be if you really just jumped and waited for the net to appear.
Jump and watch the net appear. You could believe in a tree. And it's gonna, some people do. I love the trees.
Yeah, I do.
Some people smoke the trees.
Especially when, you know, when I'm on shrooms, trees are my favorite thing. I talk to them. We're going to transition to a segment that we call Bootleg Fabulous, where we give tips and tricks for how to, you know, do things on a shoestring budget. And usually they're free. Like this one is free. So my question is, what is like a really quick mantra you say to yourself to like, to reinvigorate your belief in yourself? Like, so a thing that I will always say to myself is just, if not you, who? If not you, who? And I feel like there's just something so powerful about reminding myself that you have something to say, you have something to give to the world, and it's something that only I can do. Only Chandra can give this. So if not you, who?
One thing that I do say all of the time, and so it is and so it shall be. Because and so it is releasing the control of this is what it is. But and so it shall be is like, I know where it's going to go. I believe that it will be. So I say that like all the time, even after when I end prayer for myself or for people. And so it is and so it shall be, because I know what you want. You want things to shift. But we're going to. So I say that also.
I be in the mirror, like, I just be like, yes, bitch. You got this. You got this. Yes. I be amping, especially when I'm doing my makeup. Oh, my God.
Yes. Like, putting on your war paint?
Yes, I am. I'm like, oh, you got this, bitch. You got this. It's a password to some things, too. You got this.
It's a Philly Gray, Pitbull in a skirt. It made you happy. That's good.
A good one, yeah. I forget this. I don't have this memorized, so I relook at it too when I'm feeling low. But my affirmation is, I am supernatural, I am potent, unparalleled, financially confident, and a beast.
Come on, Ashe.
Okay. Ooh. So when I'm feeling really low, these are the words that going.
Yes, lift me up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. I feel so empowered now from
Yes,
everyone
I
else.
go take on the world.
Warm, y'all made me feel warm.
Good.
Thank
This
you.
is beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm really a fan too.
Oh, thank
Like,
you.
I don't just say that shit. I be texting.
She does.
I do. I'm like, yo, because it's a really great show. I'm really proud of y'all.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your light on the show with us.
Yes, we appreciate it, and we're just like so proud of everything that is happening for you. You know, I've texted you about it privately. I say it publicly. Like, of all people to be this beautiful moment to be happening, I'm so happy it's you. You know, I'm just,
that means a lot.
You deserve it. Been seeing you grind, and you are just really just such a person who leads with love and light, and
love is my religion.
And that's who we want to see win. That's who we want to see you win.
Thank you. I love seeing y'all too. Like, this is special. Y'all have really something special. It's different. It's really different. And
Thank
y'all
you.
motherfuckers look good. So that's great. I'm glad it's like live or however.
You know,
Well, you
I
know,
got black girl magic going.
This is really cool.
Awesome.
Well, you know, I hope that if you learned anything from this show is believe in something. And above all things, believe in yourself. That has been another episode of Unglamorous Truths. I'm Chandra. You can find me at Chani.
I'm Crystal. You can find me at _Chris.
I'm Mebs. You can find me at Amebebeyene.
Oh, I'm Sheedz. You can find me at Rashida Sheedz.
And we are Unglamorous Truths. You can find us at Unglamorous Truths on all the social medias. And you can listen to our podcast wherever you find yours. And Sheedz is an Emmy-nominated show. Don't forget that. Okay.